So I am wearing the Jordan 4 Undefeated today. And yes, they do look pretty awesome, but it's my first time wearing Jordan 4s in a long time. I've been mainly sticking with New Balance and Asics, so I kind of forgot how uncomfortable these are. And it got me thinking about how a lot of Jordans are sitting nowadays. I personally think that the reason this is happening is because the average Jordan customer is a lot older now and they value comfort a lot more. If I can get really comfy shoes for around $100, should I really be paying $220 or $230 for a pair of Jordan?
Okay, at first glance, seeing the video, I thought mistake number one, stating that Jordan has fallen off and equating that to the comfort of the shoe. And then I realized that actually wasn't his mistake. His mistake was having anything to say in relation to the Air Jordan 4 Undefeated that was not 1000% praise for the shoe. Ask me how I know. I wouldn't go near that shoe if it's not glazing it 1000%. That's just where we are in 2025. And clearly I'm not at home because like we say, go outside, touch grass. That's a good thing to do. I'm trying that, but also like it is very outside of my comfort zone to be filming like not in the comfort of home. So yay for me. But no, I have the really cool opportunity thanks to an amazing friend, Heather, aka the creator of the W tie. You guys saw that debuted here on my channel. Thanks to her, I have the opportunity to experience a few WNBA games. So again, I'm just so beyond grateful, appreciative for her, but then also happy to see every and anything that she's doing. So being able to have this opportunity, yes, I'm going to take just take the time to fully enjoy it. And I know some of you have mentioned that, yes, you've stepped away from buying as many sneakers, which means you're doing other things. You're having, you're making memories, you're doing whatever it may be that also interests and excites you. And maybe it is sneaker adjacent, right? Because sports and sneakers are always integrated into one another, but it's not just you going out and you spending $200 here and there on a pair every single week, like maybe you did in the past. And you guys know that I can relate to that. And so I'm taking that opportunity. I vlogged, I think, a little bit of the games that I've attended. I don't know how much I'll necessarily do here, but again, I've done it in the past. I have a bucket list to visit experience every arena for a W game. So I've clearly enjoyed Indiana. I've been to Atlanta, Barclays last year. So this time I'll actually hold off on where it is. And if I'm able to get that vlog up, then great. If you follow me on social media, then you'll possibly be able to see it. But yeah, some new things, maybe some other fun things while I'm away from home that I may be able to check off on like a bucket list of cool things I never thought would happen. So if that happens also, just know I'll try to bring some of it maybe to the channel here. But yeah, that video, it made its rounds. It's always interesting though when videos do just kind of pop off or go viral, especially in sneakers, because you'll hear people reference individuals as not being true to this, or they're a casual. I mean, let's be real. Somebody said Eric Costin was just some influencer, and like, do we remember that? Because he's not. And Josh, the individual who did the video, he was stating his own personal opinion in relation to the comfort of the shoe. Now, I do think you just have to be mindful of the internet. Had he just stopped there and said like, oh, this is my personal, preference or how things have changed for me in wearing a Jordan 4 versus having maybe worn more New Balances or Asics or any other sneaker that maybe has more comfort straight out of the box than what an Air Jordan 4 will. Had he just stopped there, he might have been okay, because saying that Jordan fell off, would I say Jordan has fallen off? No, because to fall off means you're not in conversations, and they're very much so in conversations. They're still a big part of the conversation in 2025 for sneakers. So I don't think that that's fair. That is certainly just a little too far. You have to know when to not go all the way, because people are going to clearly have some thoughts on that. So I wouldn't say Jordan has fallen off. Do I agree in terms of not being able to wear Jordan 4s, let's say, all day after you've worn so many comfortable sneakers? Yes, absolutely. I gave away my Converse Taylors because I couldn't wear them anymore. I threw those on foot thinking I was going to pull them off with a fit, and it absolutely was just it was a no. I couldn't do it. I put on some New Balance 740s and then walked out the door. So the comfort is a really big thing. It really has become like a more top priority preference for a lot of us in sneakers. And maybe maybe it does have to do with an age thing, but it's not always an age thing because young, people that are Gen Z are also prioritizing comfort. So at the end of the day, you're going to make somebody mad. Even if he hadn't said, this is why Jordans have fallen off, even if he hadn't said that and he just said, hey, at this point in my life, I prefer more comfortable sneakers over the Air Jordan 4 for my feet, it still would have been the waffle tweet, if you guys know what that is. If somebody says, like, I like waffles, somebody will automatically say, oh, that means that you don't like pancakes. Those aren't the same things. It's not. It is similar in sports where if I say my favorite player is Asia Wilson, someone will undoubtedly say, like, oh, well, you hate, and just insert any number of players here. And it's like that's not the same thing. It's not the same thing, which is why I steer clear of some conversations altogether on at least on here, because this is a whole different landscape when it comes to talking women's basketball. I wish it wasn't, but it is. So clearly, again, not at home, but there are some videos that are just kind of great timing, because with this video circulating about comfort in the Air Jordan 4, we're going to talk about tech in an upcoming video. Not sure when I'll have it scheduled, but we're actually going to talk about Jordan specifically in tech in an upcoming video. I think it plays just a big part, and maybe something that's on, it's been on my mind. Maybe it's on your mind as well. And then someone actually said, hey, like, waiting for your thoughts on the whole brick by brick situation. And I did comment, like, hey, I'm not home. So I just wasn't sure, like, was I going to make the effort to, like, make a video while I was away from home? Because, like, clearly I have my equipment, but it's meant for something else. It wasn't necessarily meant for me to do a video on all the things that are happening. And so much is happening. Like, one, if you guys saw my community post, I am so beyond happy that UPS allowed me to redirect the Air Jordan 4 undefeated, the size 12 and a half I had on for a friend. I'm so glad that I was able to redirect it because, again, not home. I was one of the last shipments, not the very last, but one of the last shipments, right, to go out. And I'm like, this is very inconvenient, but they'll get their package. Beyond happy. So many of you have commented now that, like, oh, I finally have received tracking, which is great. Now, like I said, the patience wasn't really present, and they said they were giving up until by August 29th. Now, I stand by, if your pair is not shipped by August 29th, go off. Go off, because now they're not holding to their word as a brand, and that is something that you deserve as a consumer, right? Like, hold them to it. We got to have some standards. We got to set some boundaries. We got to draw some lines, even though I know people aren't really drawing lines when it comes to the quality control on this pair. You guys can check out that video in which I pretty much ask you, like, hey, is there a line that you wouldn't, you would be more willing to send a pair back? And some people are just like, nah, absolutely not. I'm just going to keep this pair. I don't care what happens. And I get it. Fair enough. But for the brick by brick, it does feel like this is why we can't have nice things, right? Like, if this was going to drop and give people a real opportunity, I mean real people, like an opportunity to be able to get the shoe, I want that. I really, really, really do want that for individuals. It's just not possible. And I'm also questioning, is there ever going to be a time where in someone's camp with a brand, with whatever, that things are actually going to be kept close to the chest and not, like, leaked out? Like, do we ever get to that point? Because I just don't know that I could see myself doing that. It would just feel insanely disrespectful to the person that was either the drop was centered around, or, like, you're ruining a moment. It just feels like that. So I'm not sure if we ever get to that point, but I got people's frustration. I understand why Nike also canceled. Like, it's understandable why Nike chose to cancel that. Hopefully you guys understand. You can go ahead and drop your thoughts below. It's understandable why Nike canceled. I've seen the reseller picks with tons of Jordan 5 awakes, and it's just not great narratives right now. It's not. And this is also just where we are in 2025. I don't know that it changes, and I've already said, like, I don't really have the answers of how you stop all of this, but it just doesn't make consumers feel good. People get beyond frustrated. They think, what is the point? Why am I jumping through all these hoops and ladders just to feel like everyone is playing in my face? And again, I've said, I think there's accountability on everybody's part. It can be on the brand, it can be on the boutique, it can be on the designer. It's also going to be on us as consumers of what are we willing to deal with and what are we not willing to deal with, especially at these higher prices, because nothing's cheap, right? Like, nothing is cheap right now. I don't care what it is, right? Like, if a lot of us have to make the decision. If I want to enjoy one thing, I may need to pull back in another. So I have no problem having pulled back on $200 here and there for sneakers, because yes, I can pay for travel or other things maybe that I want to experience, and that has nothing to do again with me paying as much on shoes. That doesn't mean that I'm not spending money, guys. Okay, I already said, like, hey, I joked, I put diamonds in that thing. Yeah, this wasn't free. Okay, for me to pay to have that pierced and have a diamond put in. Also, Brianna Stewart, aka Stewie, of the New York Liberty, she did a Stu York drop. So I loved her hat since the moment I saw it. She actually did a drop on the day that I'm filming this. I was able to secure it, and it was a limited drop. So fans were like, oh my God, I missed out. I was at work. I went to go walk the dog. They did any number of things. And we all know in sneakers, these drops go fast. These drops are just like, you will get carjacked. So thankfully, I am primed and ready, and I have enough experience to quickly check out. So I was able to secure the items I wanted, and they were pre-orders. They were pre-orders, like 3 to 4 weeks for these things to even ship. And you know me, clearly I'm patient. Guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to blow up Stewie's Instagram comments or tag her in stories if my item hasn't shipped within that 3 to 4 weeks. That wouldn't be smart. Now, would it? No, it wouldn't, because she's told me how long it's going to take approximately to ship. So I'm not going to do that. And I'm saying that because I know people did that with Undefeated, even though they said by a certain date. So I won't have that energy. I will not. Again, very excited to have, those items just to support. Like, I want to support my favorite players. Absolutely love Stewie. And then I know, pre-order, before we get out of here, the pre-orders, Jordan, well, not Jordan technically, Nike is testing that out. I think a Kobe is a great way to do it. The whole final sale, no return. The issue with that does become, we don't always know how these models fit. So I would say keep that in mind. We don't, right? Like, if we're talking about a Kobe 6, I have to go up I have to go to a men's 7 for that thing to even remotely fit my foot. It was the same thing I had to do on the A1. I had to go up to a whole size. I had to go up to a 7, even though we know I probably should just start saying my true size is 6.5 men's at this point. But I went up to a 7. Had I not been able to do that, or try the pairs on, like, what if you can't? That is a risk that you run. So there are some pros and cons to pre-orders. There are. And then what is that going to do to the resale market? Well, if you have only a certain number of stock, like we know, like we speculate about stock. Well, I don't. People speculate about stock. You have a real count then of what stock is going to be if there are pre-orders. So if that's the reality that we'll then be in, there's not any more out there. So then if you have resellers that get their hands on it, oh yeah, like, limited supply can generate more demand. So I don't know what position that's going to continue to put consumers in. Pretty much, if you want a shoe and it is available for pre-order and you're okay with the risk in terms of the fit of the shoe, then go for it. If you can afford it, I would say go for it if that's something you really, really want, because it does alleviate the stress of, will I get it? Well, won't I get it? I'm okay with that. Weigh the pros and cons of everything, okay? Because pre-orders can work depending on you as an individual. Can you be patient for the pre-order? I think it really does go back to that. So please share any of your thoughts below with things that are happening. We're seeing so much every single day in sneakers. Everything was happening as I'm clearly not home. I was like, I don't even know if I'll film a video, but I did. Stepped out of my comfort zone, filmed it. I hope you guys appreciated this video. I hope you're having an amazing week. As always, act your age, not your shoe size. Peace.